Hello, welcome to exercises 8-1 in chapter 8, obviously. We're in week 6 now, and we're zipping along here, over halfway through, so if we need to catch up, we need to catch up fast. So anyway, here's what the chapter 8 wants us to do, or the goals are to teach us how to manipulate and work with profiles. And again, profiles come from alignments, okay? And they are sampled from the alignment off of the digital terrain surface, off of the DTM. Okay, just as a point of review, let me zoom in here to the alignment, and we'll notice that we have an alignment here in red, and we have the stationing indicated in green. Now this is kind of perpendicular off the center line, and it's kind of interesting way he decided to display that. But anyway, just again as a review, this is station 700, 7 plus 00, station 800, 8 plus 00, and we notice that there's a tick about halfway between. And we're going to be asked about this tick later on in a very important test that comes up at the end of the quarter. So we need to know that that's a half station, set up in a half station. And if station 700 to 800 is 100 feet, so you can guess correctly what that dimension is right in between, the length between the 700 and the half station, 750 obviously. So okay, so you need an alignment in a DTM in order to create a profile view. Okay, so that's our first step, is we need to create a profile sampling off of the existing, and we're going to set that profile view up here somewhere in the right hand corner. So let's open up chapter 8-A drawing. And we want to go ahead and, once you got the drawing open, we want to go to the particular view, and we want to establish plan view as our view that we're going to be working in. Okay, that's about where I was at anyway. So, okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go up here to profiles, and we're going to start to create the information that's going to go in our profile container. Okay, I call it a container, but it's a profile view. So we want to go profile from surface, and up comes this window. And unfortunately, only a few of us in week 2 got to this point right here, and I wish more of you would had got to. So to a lot of you, this is going to be a new interface. Okay, so what we have up here is we have existing ground, and what we want to do is add it to our list of surfaces that will be displayed in the profile view, or the profile container as I call it. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add the existing ground. Say add. Okay, and that is sampling off the center line. Okay, now the author also, in step number 4 and 5, he asks us to use offsets. Now an offset, if you remember the image I showed you the other day with the the road on the rolling hills there that were going up and down, I drew out a red line down the center line, and then I also showed you there were offsets on the edge of pavement. There was a left offset and a right offset. So that's what we're going to do here as well. We're going to set up an offset at 45 feet to the right. Notice, since it's positive, it goes to the right. If it's negative, it goes to the left. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my profile list here. So that's also going to appear in my container. And I'm going to also add a negative 45, which is going to be my left. Okay, I'm going to add that to the container. Now, one thing, since I haven't changed any of the styles, and they're all the same style, so they're all going to look red. How are you going to just differentiate which is which? So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to change the style on this first one, which is let me hover over. That's the profile that's 45 feet to the right, and I'm going to change that style to, the author asks us to change it to the BRL right, that one right there. Say okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to the left, but we're obviously going to pick the BRL left, and we say okay, and I think we're good to go. Go ahead and draw in profile view, and up comes this window, and we see the name of the alignment. Now this is chapter 6 alignment. The author went ahead and picked up from chapter 6 and continued the lesson on this way. Okay, like as I mentioned, a lot of us never finished that portion of the lab exercises, so we're just kind of playing catch up again. We can go in here and change the name if we want to, but we're going to go ahead and accept the name that the automatic sequential counter. We're just going to go ahead and accept that one, and that's number 1. We can add a description if we want, but we're good. And we're good with the major grids. Now, last thing we want to do in this window before we create the profile view is create a layer. Okay, go ahead and invoke that, and up comes the layer window, and the author asks us to create the layer. Let's go here, let's say new. Let's go there. He wants the layer to be called C-PROF. I'm sorry, C-road. Road-P-R-O-F-view. Okay? And we're just going to keep the color white. We're just going to say fine. That's okay. So when we create this profile view, it's going to be placed right on the C road profile view. All right? And I think we're good to go there, so we can go ahead and say create profile view. And now it prompts us to pick an origin. The author asks you to pick a coordinate point of 18,800, 19,500. But I'm going to show you something. I'm just going to show you how this works. I'm just going to plop it right there. Now, back in the old days, that was a no-no because the profiles used to have invisible blocks. But now Autodesk has made this really interactive, and it's a smart object, and it kind of knows where itself is. So we can move this wherever we want. We can put it in wherever we want initially and then move it. So I'm going to just touch one of the profile entities and just kind of scoot it up here. Okay? So I'm going to zoom in here, and we can see that we have our profile. Now here's another trick. If I highlight the red, notice that up here on the top, this little pop-up pops up and tells me that's the existing ground. Okay, that's the center line existing ground. And then let me highlight the green one. And this is the existing ground, but it's 45 left. Negative 45 tells me it's 45 left. And the blue line is the 45 right. So that's how you can distinguish between the profiles. If I had left them all red, we'd be confused. We'd have to constantly be highlighting them and listing them. So anyway, that should have taken us to the end of 8-1, and we will now push off to 8-2. Okay, here we are in exercise 8-2, and our next task is to create a proposed profile. Okay, these are existing, and our proposed profile represent the center line of a new road that we're planning on putting in. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to profiles and create profiles by layout, and we have to select the profile view that we want to use. Okay, we go ahead and invoke that one, and up comes the alignment that we're dealing with, and it's the only alignment that we have in the drawing, but if we had more, we could just select them from here. And if we want to give it a unique name, we can just erase all this, but we're just going to go ahead and keep the same counter name. That could be dangerous, especially if you have multi alignments, multi profiles, but for this reason, for this purpose, we're just going to keep the one. And the author asks us to go ahead and keep the design style and the complete label set. I've been asked, like, why do we have different styles for different things? So many styles for, like, especially like with this profile. Why do we have the two? Well, one controls the way the line itself looks. And this profile label set, it dictates how the text is going to look. Okay, different layers, different colors, different fonts, So one is for the line work, and then one is for the text itself. Okay, and in fact, the profile view has its own style. Okay, so there's a third that we have to deal with. So if we like this, we just go ahead and hit OK and accept that. And all of a sudden, this profile layout tools menu comes up. And what I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and stop the video now and go over to page, let's see, that is page 242, where the author explains every one of these commands. Okay, and rather than wasting the video time, just go ahead and and read those quickly and then return back to the video at this point, and then we can continue on with exercise 8-3. Okay, now that you're back from page 242, we're at now I think we're down at we're just at exercise 8-3. I'm sorry, my apologies. Okay, so you have this window open here, and what first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and set the radiuses or the parameters for the parabolic curve. Okay, so what we want to do is go to this first icon, go all the way to the bottom, and go to curve settings. Okay, and here you see circular, and we have a couple of options, asymmetrical, but we want to use parabolic, and we want to go ahead and change these to 400. Now you possibly can have, there's possibly a different value that you have now, but go ahead and change them to 400. And what these values that we're entering is that whenever we have a vertical curve and a sag, that sag vertical curve will be 400 automatically placed in there, or if it's in a crest, it will be another 400. Now in real life they might be different and probably will be, but for our purposes that's okay. So next what we want to do is we want to go here to the first icon and select draw tangent with curves. Okay, now that will automatically put in the vertical curves for us as we draw our tangents. So the first location the author asks us to go to is or to establish is at the very beginning, where the center line of the existing from the alignment meets the end of the profile view there. So we're going to start right there, and then we have to kind of scoot over to station 9. And at around elevation, let's see, asks us to 339. He asks us to choose the OSNAP nearest, pick something on the line at station 900 that's close to elevation 339. Now he mentions close, it just has to be near, it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, the next location is at station 1500. And that's around right there, and we want to choose an elevation near 327. Okay, I'm guessing, so that's kind of where I put it though. Anyway, let's scoot over to the right hand side here. Now our next point is going to be the end. Okay, and that's where the existing profile meets the edge of the profile view. Okay, hit return, and all of a sudden we see that all this text just came in. Okay, and let's zoom in here, and we'll take a look at my PI. My PI placed at 800, so I can always move that. I'm just going to grab the grip, hit right shift near, and plop it right there. Okay, and now I'm at station 9. Let me go back to 15, and the only reason I'm doing this is that it might be of use to you seeing me change these. And the PI on this one is 15, so at station 15, so we're good. Anyway, so I think that's all he's asking us to do through step 8-3. And now let's go ahead and push off to 8-4.